The Tombstone Epitaph, chronicler of the West's most notorious gunfight, now may host the ghosts of those whose stories it immortalized. Where once ink preserved history, now it may be haunted beyond history. The Tombstone Epitaph, a newspaper whose pages are a bridge between documented history and paranormal manifestation. Founded in 1880 during Arizona's silver boom, this remarkable publication didn't merely record Tombstone's tumultuous past. Some say it created a nexus where the deceased appear determined to continue their narratives beyond mortal constraints. The Epitaph was founded by John Philip Clum, former Indian agent to the Apaches, who established the newspaper on May 1, 1880. His brilliantly conceived motto, "Every tombstone needs an epitaph," revealed his intention to create not merely a newspaper, but a literary monument to the frontier town. Clum's concurrent role as Tombstone's mayor positioned the Epitaph at the center of civic authority, creating a publication that both documented and shaped the community's development. The Epitaph secured its historical significance through its documentation of the gunfight at the OK Corral on October 26, 1881. Under the headline, "Yesterday's Tragedy," the newspaper provided the first written account of an event that would transcend mere historical occurrence to become American mythology. The Epitaph's language merits particular attention. 3 men hurled into eternity in the duration of a moment. This phrasing, simultaneously journalistic and metaphysical, transformed a violent confrontation into an existential transition. This preservation of such a traumatic event created what parapsychologists term an emotionally charged historical record, a documented moment of extreme distress that may contribute to residual haunting phenomena. The original Epitaph building, now a museum, presents the most concentrated site of unexplained phenomena in Tombstone. Multiple categories of manifestations have been documented with remarkable consistency. Staff, visitors, and investigators frequently report the distinctive mechanical rhythm of typewriter keys striking paper when no one is present. These sounds occur predominantly between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock a.m., the traditional deadline hours for newspaper production. Numerous audio recordings have captured these anomalies, including a particularly compelling session in 2005 that documented a full 3 minutes of typewriter operation in an empty building. More unsettling are the whispered editorial directions recorded during overnight investigations. Electronic voice phenomena sessions have captured phrases including "check the typeset," "incorrect attribution," and most frequently, "the truth matters," phrases consistent with period editorial practices but occurring in empty rooms. There have been reports of visual manifestations as well. The most frequently reported apparition appears to be Clum himself. Witnesses consistently describe a tall, bearded figure in period attire, examining the printing equipment or standing at the editorial desk. In 1998, a professional photographer captured an anomalous image showing a partially transparent male figure beside the original printing press. Subsequent analysis eliminated artifacts of modern manipulation of the image, and the figure's appearance matched period photographs of Clum with remarkable accuracy. Museum staff have documented occasions where they locked the building at night, only to return the following morning to find specific historical editions removed from archives and prominently displayed open to significant articles, particularly those related to violent deaths or contentious events. Perhaps most intriguing are the documented instances of physical manipulation of the typesetting equipment. In 2017, security cameras failed during an overnight period, and staff arrived to find antique typesetting blocks arranged to form the phrase, "still here." Investigation found no evidence of unauthorized entry, and dust patterns suggested the blocks had been moved by an unseen force rather than human hands. Multiple visitors have reported feeling a firm hand on their shoulder when examining certain historical editions, particularly those documenting the OK Corral gunfight. When they turn to see who it is, no physical presence is visible, yet the sensation is described as distinctly real rather than merely atmospheric. Paranormal researchers have classified the apparent manifestation of John Clum as an intelligent haunting, suggesting consciousness and intentionality rather than merely residual energy. His ghostly presence demonstrates several distinctive characteristics. Investigators using period printing equipment during overnight sessions report experiencing sudden, inexplicable technical guidance, feeling their hands subtly directed to correct mechanical errors they hadn't recognized. Electronic equipment frequently malfunctions in the presence of the apparition. Batteries drain at accelerated rates, recording devices capture anomalous static, and digital cameras often fail to properly focus. These technological disruptions follow patterns consistent with what parapsychologists term conscious energy manipulation, rather than random electromagnetic interference. Particularly noteworthy are the documented temperature fluctuations that accompany Clum's apparent manifestation. Calibrated thermometers have recorded sudden 15-degree drops in specific locations, primarily near the editorial desk. The Epitaph building exists within a broader grid of paranormal activity throughout Tombstone. Comparative analysis reveals significant correspondences between entities encountered at the newspaper building and those documented at other locations. The spectral figures associated with the OK Corral gunfight, particularly Billy Clanton and the McLaury brothers, manifest both at the gunfight location and periodically at the Epitaph building. Witnesses report seeing translucent figures examining specific editions that documented their deaths, apparently scrutinizing their own obituaries with evident agitation. The presence associated with Big Nose Kate Elder has been documented moving between her former residence and the newspaper offices. Her apparition typically manifests when researchers examine articles that portrayed her relationship with Doc Holliday, suggesting continued concern with her historical representation. Most interesting is the apparent interaction between these various entities within the Epitaph building. During a 2012 investigation, researchers documented what appeared to be an adversarial encounter between two distinct male apparitions near the printing press, one matching Clum's description and another consistent with known photographs of Frank McLaury. Temperature sensors recorded two distinct cold spots moving in apparent opposition before both gradually dissipated. While acknowledging the challenges inherent in paranormal research, several documented anomalies at the Epitaph building resist conventional explanation. A 2014 investigation employing multiple calibrated instruments simultaneously recorded the following: localized temperature drops of 12 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit, electromagnetic field spikes exceeding 30 milligauss with no identifiable source, unexplained audio phenomena captured on 3 separate recording devices, and photographic anomalies showing distinct light formations not visible to the naked eye. These phenomena occurred simultaneously and corresponded with experiences reported by multiple investigators, suggesting an integrated phenomenon rather than equipment malfunction or environmental factors. Particularly noteworthy was a 2019 session where researchers placed blank paper in the antique printing press before sealing the room. Upon returning after a 3-hour period, they discovered a partial impression on the paper resembling the masthead of an 1881 edition of the newspaper, an impression that analysis confirmed contained ink components consistent with 19th century formulations, but which could not have come from the preserved, inoperable press. Visitors to the Epitaph Museum today frequently report unexplained experiences, particularly when examining artifacts related to the newspaper's most controversial coverage. These experiences follow consistent patterns, including overwhelming emotional responses inconsistent with the individual's normal temperament, sensations of being watched or evaluated while handling archival materials, distinct impressions of editorial disapproval when mishandling historical documents, or occasional glimpses of period-dressed figures who vanish when directly observed. The Tombstone Epitaph began with a mission to document the stories of a frontier community. That it now appears to host the spectral echoes of those whose stories it preserved creates a narrative beyond mere coincidence. In its original motto, "Every tombstone needs an epitaph," Clum suggested that words might persevere after death. The documented phenomena associated with the newspaper suggest this transcendence manifests in ways he couldn't have imagined. The epitaph stands as testament to the extraordinary possibility that in certain historically charged locations, the boundary between documented past and living presence may be remarkably permeable. Here, in a town named for death, the stories of the dead appear determined to continue beyond their final paragraph. Experience the haunted legacy of the Tombstone Epitaph yourself. Visit this extraordinary location that is haunted beyond history. Please subscribe and hit that bell for more haunted beyond history places from around the world. The dead have stories yet to tell. Will you listen? Thanks for watching.